guys. What I got going today is I moved the cameras around. Hopefully we get a little better footage so that you can see more of what I'm doing. And tonight what I'm doing is I'm finishing up the taping out of the invasion stripes. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can mask them off one by one, or do like I've done here, and I've cut 2-inch pieces of vinyl. Now, as it goes around the leading edge, you'll see that it's basically gone crazy there. It doesn't go in the right direction. So you have to split it at the leading edge, and you try to do it right at the high point of the leading edge. Now, of course, and I'm just going to show this one part here. We'll line them up in the back, and I'm just going to approximate where they are. Your eye can see, mine can see straight enough what is 2 inches and what isn't. And we'll lay that down. Now we have a couple problems. We have a gap at the leading edge. Now, not only does this save time because it's taping off everything, but it also makes a clean line. So what I do at the leading edge is I just take some of the fine line tape and I extend that stencil from one to the other. Like so. And I've done that over here as well, where I've gone around the trailing edge. You want to make sure that you go around the trailing edge and leading edge, and anywhere that it might. It's in the details. That's all I can say. If you don't pay attention here, it will look haphazard when you're done. Like I was telling you about painting down into the jambs here. Well, we can't paint down into the jambs, but we can cut this. And this is, inside the wheel door, so to speak. But it doesn't matter. If you let it overspray onto that, it will look terrible. So I just take a piece of masking tape. There's no need to get too excited about what you're doing down in there. We're just trying to knock off the overspray from going everywhere. And we'll finish taping that up there. I'm hoping that with the camera over my left shoulder, I switched around, you can see things a little better. But here again, I don't know. But now we'll come back with the fine line tape. And I'm going to go right down into that wheel well so that it carries that line down into the wheel well. And here again, it doesn't much matter, except that if you left it to overspray, when you put the door on it, because it's black on white, you'll be able to see that in through the crack. That kind of stuff drives me nuts. It may not bother you. push it down in there. Now you can, if you put the door on it and paint it, what happens then is you've glued the door to the wing. So you just basically have to do this outside of the, off the airplane. You see I have a large area right here. Let me zoom in here with this other camera. Maybe you can see. I have a large area of white open here, but that doesn't matter because it's going to get papered up. So I'll come back, see, there's a large area right here, but that doesn't matter either because it's going to get papered up. We're only worried about the two center stripes. These are the stripes that are going to be turned black. Oh. And that's it for the fine line. There's no need to put fine line in here. We'll just fill that in with masking tape. And the same goes for here, because this gets papered. Now you'll notice in the back over here I have the invasion stripes taped off. I didn't like that, so I cut vinyl. I'm going to take that back off here before we start shooting. I'll take that back off the airplane and I'll put 1-inch strips of vinyl on there. I also have to back mask the insignia so that it doesn't get turned black. So there's quite a bit of work to do to get this ready to go. I been working on other things today. I didn't do much movie making or model making. A lot going on. If you remember, I think it was back about 07 or 08 when I did the 11-day Aries on a building spree. Well, I am going to frame up a Continental in those 11 days this year, and I'll show that all on camera. I know that it's rather boring. I don't cut out much of the footage. As I was pointed out today, I should show what I'm doing and then move on. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move on from here. We go back to the papering and just go around, make sure that when you're doing this, that you have all your stencils down in the groove, and make sure that they're pressed down real good. Burnish it down, because we don't want any overspray. I spent a lot of time getting this model looking right. You don't want a lot of overspray or mistape things or what have you, so check your work, because it only takes a second, and if you didn't check it, and then voila, you have a big, huge mess. You have to go back over and repair things. And repair is just no good. So all in all, just tape that up or paper it off, and we'll be back when I'm spraying. See you in a short. Check out the markings on this airplane today. I don't know, yesterday I kind of got lost. But what I'm going to do is make up the numbers here. Let's see what happened to my little numbers. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out these numbers. Part of doing these stencils is you got to weed them. For some reason it looks like it didn't. These are the use numbers that were on the real airplane. And this is the AMA number. I'm going to do these in black. Tape's ripping. So, let me explain why I do this bounding box. If you watch my Sure Cuts a Lot Pro video, I showed the bounding box. The bounding box is for indexing. If I didn't have a bounding box on it, it would be just trying to eyeball how this stencil went on. And that would be absolutely no good. When this video is over, I am running a camera. However, you're not going to be able to see as well as you can see over my left shoulder here what I'm doing on the bench. I will edit this up and try to make some type of video. But at least when I do the live stream, I get something up. How raw it is or whatever is, at least I get something up today. Because it does take some time to sort things out. I'm trying to figure out better ways to get my points across on how I do things. But in the flow of building, if I want to build airplanes, I just have to go with how I'm doing it. If I'm going to get anything accomplished, because my primary purpose is to get the job done, and my secondary purpose is to show you how I'm doing it. No offense, but I've got to get these jobs out. Everybody's waiting on the build-along project. We're going to be doing that over the Christmas holidays. I'm going to finish that up as well. And I'm going to frame up a Continental. I think I can probably do the build-along project in one day. Okay, so we have those. We got one more here. These smaller numbers are tail numbers. And they're really not a necessary thing. They're just more an aesthetic thing. I thought I'd put on there to make it look more scale-like. Okay, so we got those split. Let's see what this is. These are the checkerboards that I cut out. I don't need those. Now we know that, whether I know you can see or not, let me see here. You can't, but what I'm doing is this, I'm just eyeballing the stripe to make sure that it's running parallel to the tape line that I had on there. So there we have that. We'll do the outboard side, or the back side, I should say. Oh, come on. Well, those are, I wish I could get those old screen quotes out of my site, or out of my viewer. I'm sure you don't have them on this. Now, if you remember when I painted this, I measured out 5 inches. Well, 5 divided by 3 is 5 inches with, I don't know how I'm trying to explain this. Anyway, it's 1 inch apart. It's 1 inch apart. So I just normally take my strip and eyeball it into the center. I mean, you can measure if you want. You could get a micrometer out. But I'm telling you, my eye is close enough that that's how I do it. I do it by eye. And there you go. Let's see if we could move it over this way just a smidge. And how we'll check that is I'll take one of these strips here that we know is 1 inch wide, put it up, that's 1 inch, that's 1 inch, that's exactly, we're exactly in the right spot. So that's how I do that. Now, for over and under the fuselage, how we're going to do that is I'm going to cut off the tails right at the top here, trying not to cut into the fuselage. Turn her over. I'm also going to cut 2 knockouts for this here on the stencil cutter today before I paint this, because the tape is walking. Alright, so now we got that. Let's finish that up. And that's just as simple as taking fine line tape and connecting the two sides together. And the reason I do it this way, if you try to go over the top with the stencil, it will distort as it goes around the corner. So the fine line makes it super simple. Let me see here. We got anybody watching? I don't think so. But we'll look. Oh, there is 3 watching. Probably my 3 followers I have in life. Nobody else seems to care. But that's okay. Yeah, I got a little off there. One of them is a little off. But we're not going to worry about it. We're not building watches. I got to get out underneath this project. If I don't, I'm never going to get done. There's another nice trick. If you take a razor blade and you hold it at an angle and lift the tape into the razor blade, it'll cut it right off. I wonder why that's like that. I'm just not going to worry about it. We got a little bit of an angle on that stripe from one side to the other, but I can't. I cannot be too perfect. It'll be fine. Nobody'd ever know. You're looking at that, you're standing too close. Okay. Okay, we got that. I guess I might as well just put a piece of masking tape on there now. You guys got any questions, go ahead and type it in the box. And the only way that you can chat with me live is if you're watching this on my on YouTube itself. If you're watching from the forum, you cannot talk to me or chat at me or whatever you want to call it. You can chat at me, but I won't see it until the show's over. What this piece of tape is it's just giving me that added extra 3/4 of an inch that I talk about to keep from overspraying onto the other paint when we tape, when I paper it off. So now we'll do the top. Well, this good thing I'm looking here. This stupid stencil popped up there. Now the same thing for the top stripes. Got the recorder going. I'm hoping that I'm getting some better audio. I made a movie that'll be the first part of this. Movie when I edit it up, but the audio, I don't know. It's kind of strange because I'm using a lavalier mic, and the connection was keep cutting in and out. So now I'm just trying to use the Zoom recorder with its 120 degree I don't know what you call it, projection mic or whatever. So should have good audio. I'll have 3 audio tracks to choose from anyway. The one that you're listening to, the one on the recorder, and the one on the other camera. What I did for the overhead view is I put that camera on a light pole, on a, I don't know what you call it, a lighting fixture, umbrella holder or whatever. You guys need to let me know if you like the over the shoulder view better. When I get this taped up, I'm going to take a short pause and think I can pause the stream, or we'll pause the stream and I'll cut out the knockout for that to cover the stars and bars. Okay, so that's done. We'll move on to the next piece. So seeing that I've decided that I'm going to make the numbers black and make them visible, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to measure in order to keep them in line, because I think that I made these numbers, where are they? The same width as the 1.5 inches. Pretty close. So we want the bottom of that to be 2.5 off the trailing edge. So 2.5 off the trailing edge minus inch and we'll just make it 1.5 inches. So we need to make a mark up here, or a register mark 1 inch off, 1 inch off the trailing edge. Now I'm just going to eyeball it. We know that the tape is 3/4 wide. So this should put it on the same plane as the other, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Why don't I like it? Is that trailing edge straight? Yeah, it is. So it needs to go up another 1/4 inch. Now we'll get the registry mark from side to side. Here again, I'm just using my eye. I'm not. There's no measuring or. So you take the stencil off. Index it right on that tape. And that, my friends, is the reason for the bounding box. Hey, look! No paint pulled up. I know so many of you guys have such a problem with paint pulling up. And as I mentioned over and over again, it's just basic chemistry. And I do mean basic. Okay, let's do the top invasion, the invasion stripes, and we're going to be shooting black here, probably in this video. I don't foresee it taking very much longer to do this. So I take my 2-inch bar that I've made, and I peel her off. We know the outside one's going to be white, so you just line it up with your outside line. And we got to cut her off right at the leading edge. And that's because we're trying to go around. We're coming, I don't know, it's different angles, I guess, I don't know. Just trust me, it's 1,000 times easier if you go around the leading edge and trailing edge with fine line than try to go around with this. I cut my finger and it's now a scab. Okay, we're doing the outside one. If you can see this here, you can see that it's warped. I'm going to have to tweak it. I also see I got a little bit of touch up to do there. We ain't building watches. And that's basically how to do the stripes. It's just so fast. With this vinyl, you can tape an airplane off so quick it's ridiculous. Normally, in the old days, I would have to fine line that, come back with masking tape, tin foil, whatever, and pretty painstaking if you wanted a good job. Go ahead and type in the box. Let me know you're there. I also have to figure out how I'm going to do this canopy. I've been thinking about that, I don't know, a few hours. How am I going to do that? I'm thinking about making a pattern, getting the pattern how I like it, holding it up to the airplane, taking it to my computer, scanning it, and cutting a piece of vinyl stencil. I'm sure that some commercial artist who is... When I did commercial art, when I worked for Negley Outdoor Advertising and Prairie Valley Signs, everything was done on a light board. It was cut and paste, pen and ink on vellum. Now with computers, you know, the result is nice, you know, with computers. But man, you really got to go to school to know all the programs and all the. It's too much for me. I don't have time. If I would have grown up now instead of when I did, I'm sure the outcome of my models would be, well, I don't know. They might not they'd be non-existent because nobody does this stuff. You had to learn how to do it by hand first, and the computer is just an aid. But end results is pretty nice. I mean, as far as computer generated graphics and things along that line. See, this is where the problem comes in. It comes in right at the curve. I'm sure there's probably some good explanation for it, but I don't have it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, I cheat the eye all the time. Back down into that wheel well area as I told you about. See, when I'm building airplanes, this airplane's not the way that I do things, but the way I do airplanes, if I was going to make this notch, I'd have made it as wide as the tape, 3/4 of an inch, so that when I came back to tape things off, the tape would be in there perfect. This is close, but almost screwed up. That was thinking in reverse there. This needs to be painted black in there. Okay. Alright. Gotta get the tape off the bench or it'll be stuck. It'll be stuck when I turn that foam around. I won't be able to turn it. It will aggravate me to death. Now I'm also going to check my recording here, so you got to give me a second to make sure that we're still recording, because I did have an issue the other day. We're still recording, been running 40 minutes. Oh man, getting wiped here. So I'm just finishing out the last of the invasion stripes, and our next the next segment will be paper and paint. Why is that so tacky there? Alright, let's get that other piece off the cutter. I had already cut this up yesterday, I just didn't remove it off the cutter. We've been having surprisingly nice weather for St. Louis. I'm just eyeballing it up. We can check it here in a minute. It doesn't much matter. I mean, if it looks good to your eye. And it doesn't. I know what I can do. Seems as if I'm having a problem here. 2 inches there. Oh, needs to go. There we go. Got her now. Kind of difficult there, that one. Didn't get much play on this stream today. It's Sunday. Didn't really expect to. I just trying to get it recorded up so that I can finish up my other movie that I'm working on. Now, if you're going to screw up on positioning, make sure you do it on the trailing edge and not the leading edge. The reason why I say that is it's less noticeable on an 1/8 inch wide gap than it is on a 2-inch wide gap. We're going to turn it around. We're going to make sure that the leading edge mates up. And we'll take our chances with the trailing edge. I can see that the trailing edge goes right there, and the leading edge goes right. Let's see here. Come on. I don't know, there's so much wingtip weight in this thing, it wants to drop the wingtip, and there's nothing in the box. Now maybe there is something in the box, because this airplane was flown. There we go. I forgot about that. This airplane had been flown. So my guess is there is wingtip weight in it. Now this section here we have to get taped off real good, because it's not a section that's one-sided for masking. It's going to get sprayed from both sides of the frisket. So do a good job connecting the dots there. we're going to stop this video or live stream. I'm going to take a break. I think we've been running about an hour. I'll come back in a half an hour or so. I'll pick up the stream and or start another stream. We'll tape it off and paint it. Got a little spot right there where the tape peeled up with a little speck of gray. I guess I didn't get hot enough paint thinner on it. I might work on some type of stencil for the canopy before we go any farther. Oh, I know. We need to put down the stencil on this side. Okay, so on the top first I had 1.25 inches, then I had 1.5 inches, so I'm just going to add a 1/2 inch. Let's see, is that right? Yeah, an extra, yeah, that's right. And then we're going to center this up in here. Let me zip this off. I'll move the airplane over so you can see a little better. And it will be easier to see. So here you see that I just eyeball that line in. Then I'm going to take the stencil, eyeball it into the center of where I think it looks good from side to side. Yeah, you know, let's measure it. Just for shits and grins. I say that's where it goes. It's kind of difficult because this wingtip moves around. It would have looked fine where I had it. But anyway, to index it, you just add it, so you got a little L there. Demask, or take the backer off. Whoops. Little issue there, pull it up too fast. Trying to get ahead of myself. Put it right in the corner, lay it right on the tape on the edge. The best way to get these masks down is to hold this side up and just start feeding it down so you don't get any air bubbles in it. The reason why this is not sticking is that I have my thumbprints on it. Anywhere that you put your thumbs, you're taking the glue off the stencil, so you got to try to not handle them very much. But it doesn't matter, our real critical area, which is around the font, hasn't been compromised. Why are we having a problem here? Normally I don't recommend doing this, but this is a sheeted wing. It was giving me a little bit of a fit there, so I'll just unfit it. When I was younger, there was a time that I was a beveler. And very few people are going to know what a beveler is. I was an apprentice glazer, meaning that we hung mirrors and cut glass. And a beveler is a person who takes a belt sander and belt sands the edge of the glass to a polished state. They also cut the holes in the glass, or let's say you're going to have a mirror go over a electrical outlet. Obviously the electrical outlet's got to come through, and it's hard to cut a hole in glass. Well, it's hard, but not impossible. And how that's done is with a hole saw on a table mounted drill press, more or less. And you build a dam around it. I don't know why I'm talking about this, it just came to mind. Build a dam around it, you fill it full of water, and you put diamond dust in the water. And that diamond dust grinds a hole through the glass. Anyway, the reason why I brought up being a beveler is we had a little saying as bevelers, because you couldn't, once I scored a piece of glass and broke it, you were committed. So it was a one-shot deal. You know, if you cut it in the wrong spot, oops, new piece of glass. If you ran the belt sander in the wrong angle, oops, new piece of glass. Well, the owner of the company told me that I need to learn how to pull a rabbit. And it's just like it says, pull a rabbit where? Pull a rabbit out of the hat. Well, that's the same thing you got to do here. When things don't work quite right, you're going to have to pull a rabbit, you know, magically overcome the situation. And it takes a little thought. But there's really not anything that complicated to overcome. And that helped me in my mechanic part of life as well. Pull a rabbit. Really helped me with welding. I'm a pretty fair welder. TIG, MIG, and Heliart, stick, and gas acetylene. I can do it all. That's another skill that you got to kind of have to be a mechanic. All these skills were taught. You know, I learned about all this stuff basically in high school, but they don't teach that shit no more. In metal shop, we forged, sand cast and forged things, and all that shit's been pretty helpful in my life. Anything I can't do if I want to do it bad enough. Except qualify. I don't have the time to practice. Alright, we're done taping, masking. Will I get the stars and bars on the other wing? Oh, no, it gets the AMA number. or on the bottom side. Ah, yes. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Let's see if I have one cut already. Well, I do have one cut. We'll go ahead and tape that up too. Not a big deal. Thanks for reminding me, Jim. Okay. What were you thinking? I don't know. It wasn't, I guess. I wonder if doing these live streams and I'm woodworking, if I cut my finger off, if YouTube would edit it out as restricted content. Okay, so we got that there. That's about an inch over. So it goes right there. Like so. So I'm going to put my index mark on it. Index marks on it, I know that we're going to come to right there. Except I got the index mark on, it's crooked. Get another piece of tape. Goofy. In the old days, I would have had to tape that out with, that's how I did my Thunderbolt. Tape it out with fine line tape. There won't be any more of that shit. I think the reason why it's not acting the same as on the top here, this bottom piece is not as slick, it's kind of porous. That's alright, it can't beat me. Come on. Ah, good call, Jim. I appreciate you pointing that out to me. I have blue in the gun. We'll shoot that up real quick and I'll be done with that. I don't need these bars anymore. We'll put them over here. I don't think there's any blue anywhere that I need to do. This will give you a perfect example of how much prep work goes into how much painting. It's just unbelievable. Been working on the prep work now. For 3 weeks. And I would say the actual paint job is less than 2 hours. What are you willing to do? You know what? I almost made a mistake there too. I was just going to shoot blue on it. Can't do that. I have got to remove the centers. Paint the white. Or do I have one made up? I do. Okay. So, all that work to get these to stick down, and I got got nothing but to do to take them up. All right, let's do the white. Yeah. This damn thing. Does not want to stick down for some reason. The only thing I can think of is that it's just not. Well, let's pull a rabbit. It doesn't want to stick. So what is the problem? That right there, my friends, was pulling a rabbit. It had some kind of tension on it or whatever, so I just split it, relieved the tension in the low spot, put a piece of tape on it to make sure it doesn't bleed through. I probably should have cut it right at that corner, but it doesn't much matter. So now it's laying down. Let her rip, Tater Chip. The dope will help it stick down. Okay, it's white. Gonna be about 10 or 15 minutes for that to be dry enough to put a stencil on. But while it's drying, we'll prepare our over mask. Now our over mask is this piece here, less the outside. Let's see, how do I want to do that? I can't index it that way. If I'd have knew I was going to do this, I would have cut some circles in the corners of these and made indexing marks, but I didn't realize I was going to do it this way next time. So, I guess I'll just lay it down on one piece and take up but the problem is that thing wants to lift. Yeah, we'll just make it all in one and see how it goes. Gonna have to buy some more transfer tape and some more vinyl. Yeah, I probably should have removed that blue piece, but I don't know. Pulling a rabbit. That was what I did yesterday or the other day with the star that I put on upside down. Got the stencil all marked out, taped off, ready to go, but the star's upside down. What are you going to do? Well, you can't cry about it. You got to move on, figure out the solution. Anyway, while we're waiting for this paint to dry or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream. I'll be back in about an hour, I guess. An hour would give me enough time to weed out these little... I mean, these stencils are really tiny, so... You know, I'm sure you don't want to watch me do this on stream. You can't really see, so I gotta weed this tail number out, and this is the real tail number for this airplane. Pretty soon we'll have so many numbers on our airplane they won't know who it belongs to. FAA, AMA, FAI, if you're a scale plane with the national number, and oh, it's ridiculous.